Hey everybody, it's Tom Cheriams with the FujiNet project. And I wanted to go ahead and show that support for ATR disk images with 512 bytes per sector has been checked into master and how to use it. Now, why would you use 512 byte per sector images? Well, at its simplest, using 512 bytes per sector effectively doubles the amount of disk capacity over double density ATR disk images, which use 256 bytes per sector. So, you go from 16 megabytes of space for a 65,535 sector disk image to roughly 32.5 megabytes of disk space. Now, this does come with some cons, of course. And the main one is that currently the only operating system that can support 512 byte sector images is Sparta-DOS X. So, in other words, you also, because the ATR disk image format uses 512 byte sectors for every sector on the disk, you cannot boot from these sectors. You cannot boot from these disk images. So with that said, let's go ahead and get that out of the way, and I'll show how we actually use them. We'll start with a copy of Sparta-DOS X version 4.49. You need version 4.4 or greater to use 512 byte sector images. And we will have hit reset on the FujiNet here and done a directory to get at the built-on ROM disk here. Now, the most recent builds of the FujiNet flash file system are now using a compressed bootloader for config, which drastically improves the boot time. So the file layout has changed ever so slightly. I'm going to work with APC actually to take and rename config xex back to config com. But for now, we'll simply just run it. And once this is booted, we find ourselves in the TNFS host list, and we'll go ahead and eject what's here. Now, for the sake of expediency here, you can make these disk images on any host slot that you wish. We'll use the SD card slot. And I will make one called Big Disk using the new command. And this is a custom disk size, so press 7. Number of sectors, we'll use the maximum number, so 65535. And for sector size, even though it says 128 or 256, you can put 512 here. Are you sure? Absolutely, and we will mount it in drive 1. So now that this is fully mounted, we can go ahead and tap the Option key, and within a few moments we find ourselves back out at the Sparta-DOS X prompt. Now with this set, we can effectively take and format the resulting disk. Select the first drive, and we'll see right off the bat that a couple of things have changed from what they normally are. First and foremost, you'll see that the density is now DD512, indicating 512 byte sectors. You'll also see that the sector size is 512 BPS, and you will also notice that the apparent disk capacity size is 32 megabytes in size. We'll go ahead and build the directory. Directory is about to be cleared. Are you sure? Absolutely. Yes, we know. Let's go ahead and format the disk. So right there, now we have a 32 megabyte ATR here that we can read and write to from inside of Sparta-DOS X. Now, because of the way the Sparta-DOS X file system works, and because of the extended capacity, there are quite a few sectors taken up by the directory and other parts of the file system. So we wind up with 65,516 free sectors available to do what we want to. And with that, we'll go ahead and end the video here. So, as always, until next time, guys, have fun.